Okay, well, it's good to see you again. I hope that you enjoyed this video. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about this pair of shoes. And this is a pair of Alden dress shoes. And we noticed a really beautiful mirror shine on these toe caps here. Really beautiful. I purchased this pair of shoes, um, I don't know, about 6 months ago for myself. And off of eBay. And when I bought them, I think I paid about $80. Brand new. They're $700 shoes. And when I got them, they didn't look nearly this nice. So I'd like to talk you through how to make your shoes look like this. If I were to go through these steps in real time, the video would be an hour long or longer. So I'm just going to tell you what to do, and I think you'll get wonderful results just like I did. In other words, you don't have to spend a huge amount of money to have really nice shoes. You can buy them pre-owned on eBay, and then you can everything that I can do, you can do as well, or you can probably do even better than I do. Okay. When I got these shoes in, they had light scratches and they didn't look this good. What I did is I cleaned them first with a damp cloth, just water, but just a damp cloth to get all the top dirt off, and then I dried them off with just a typical cloth like this, microfiber towel. And then what I did is I removed the laces, and I used this acetone. And when I got these shoes, the wax buildup was huge. There's a lot of wax buildup. So I got some acetone on a rag and just kind of went over the shoe fairly quickly, the whole shoe, to get that extra wax off. And then what I did, after I did that to both shoes, including the tongue, then I went over it with conditioning oil, or sometimes it's usually called mink oil. And what that did is acetone has a way of drying out the leather. I put on this mink oil onto the shoes. I waited a few hours and I put mink oil on again 2 times. And then what I did is I waited for that to dry for the most part, and then I wiped it off with a rag to get all that extra mink oil off. And then I waited a few more hours until it was pretty much dry. And then on the uppers here, all I did was I just polished them about 7 or 8 times. One of the tricks I'm not going to do in this particular video, but if you have a light scratch like that right there, and the shoe polish won't get that off, what you can do is use 3000 grit sandpaper. Nothing less, not 2500, not 2000, but 3000 grit sandpaper. And then you would just you don't press down hard, you just kind of go back and forth over that area. And then after a while, then you apply your shoe polish, and then it can work out real well. Okay. The trick to this is several things. Don't use anything less than 3000 grit, and then you probably want to practice on a pair of fairly ordinary shoes to kind of get the feel for it. And you can do it a little while and then put the polish on to see. You don't want to just keep going and going and going and going. You just want to, you know what I'm saying. You got to be real careful. Okay, so what I did is I used, now this polish here is dirt cheap. I got this at one of the dollar stores. I don't know if it was Dollar General, and it's military gloss black. And I feel guilty for doing this because it's not using this because it's not made in the United States. So I'm going to order American-made military gloss next time. But this is actually really good polish. I'm really pleased with it. Now, why am I talking with black polish when it comes to burgundy shoes? Here you have to be really careful. And you need to practice on another pair of shoes probably before you go to an expensive pair of shoes. But this leather here, if it's this number 8 type color or kind of a dark burgundy, by the time a pair of shoes is 10 years old or so, it'll get all kind of faded out. And what many times I do is I use black shoe polish and I go over it one time and I kind of see if that helps. What it'll do is it'll return the color to kind of a dark color. But you don't want to go crazy with this stuff. You just want to do that one time. So the first few times you might want to use something like a clear type shoe polish, and of course, or Cordovan color shoe polish. And then, the last time go back with the black, and it helps. Now with the toes, how did we get this shine to look so nice? Well, what I did is first of all, you polish it and so forth. These had slight imperfections, so I had to use a 3000 grit paper, and then I'd polish them. Again, I started off with using acetone to get off any of the old polish, and that way it will accept new polish. Now, what I did with the toes is I wanted the toes to be slightly darker than the rest of the shoes. So on the toes, what I did is I used the black polish, and about 10 times I polished them really, really well. And then when I cleaned off that polish, I made sure there's no polish left on them. I used this Angelus. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm not sure the correct way to pronounce that. But it's high gloss acrylic finisher. The only place that you use this is on your toes. You don't use it in here. We've all seen shoes that were made in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, and even today, many companies do it, where they have it beautiful when they come in the box. They'd be beautiful, but within just a couple of days, not this pair, but cheap pairs, would have just hideous cracks. Because many of the new shoes made during that time were finished over with plastic on top of the leather. Of course, the correct word is not plastic, but that's essentially what it is. And that's what this stuff is. So you don't want to use this in here or any other place on the shoe, just on your caps. And so once I had these polished really nice, I used a cloth like this, but a brand new one. And then what you do is you apply this stuff, but you gotta make sure you don't shake this before, or else you'll get bubbles in it. You don't shake it. And you put some on your cloth, and you just go over it fairly quickly. You don't rub it in, or work it in, or press it in. You just put a layer of that on there, and wait about 10 minutes, and what it'll do is it'll dry. And then you do that about 3 times with this. Now, what will ruin this and make you start all over is if you have a pet, cat, or dog, and one hair gets on that shoe, or a piece of fuzz, or lint, or you name it, anything like that, and then you just have to start over. And on both of these shoes, I had to start with this acetone to kind of start over. And then what I do after that, even after I've used this, and it's completely dry to where it's hard, and you have to wait maybe a day or at least a few hours, then I go back over it again with the polish, and I polish it again 3 or 4 times. That's how you get a beautiful shine like that. No name polish like this is about $2.50. I'm going to go back with this brand, Kiwi Black Military Polish. It's probably about $6 for a little can. And this is maybe about $7, and this is about $10, $11. Sandpaper, just like everything else, if you go down to the auto parts store and you buy a sheet of, they're outrageously expensive. Buy this stuff on eBay. It'll save you a fortune. It really will. In fact, all this stuff and a lot of stuff I buy on eBay, and just saves a fortune. But that's a topic for a different video. And then what I do is, as kind of a finishing touch or some point in the process, no, I didn't bring the right tool with me, but I'll get a toothbrush. It's an ordinary toothbrush. Get all the dirt out of here. Get all that dirt out. And then it's before I add the mink oil. I'll work that mink oil in there, and it'll just look really nice. But of course, then you have to dry it, right? You have to kind of get your towel like this and kind of go like that all the way through it. And oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, at some point in the process, you want to use edging for this right in through here. You use edging, doesn't have to be this brand, but pretty much any brand. And then if you want to, on top of that edging, you can polish it. But I like the edging. Edging works its way into the leather, while polish is just up on top. So edging is really good to use. These bottles used to cost about $4 or probably $8 now, but it'll last you 20 pairs of shoes or more. Not bad for an $80 pair of shoes, and maybe this stuff is dirt cheap. Maybe $25 worth of stuff, and all this stuff I can use on 20, 30 pairs of shoes, and you can do just as well as I did, or probably better. I guess that's about all I have to say about this pair of shoes. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I want it to be encouraging to you, because not all of us can afford brand new shoes. And we want to wear nice shoes, but we can't spend $600 on a pair of shoes. So this is a way to make them look really, really good. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and have a good day. All right, bye.